Do I have a confession for you today? You're not going to believe this, but in the 8 years that I have been designing my house over and over and over and over again, some rooms 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, trying to get it authentic, trying to get it perfect, trying to make it comfortable for the family, I never once considered a room for myself, a room that I can make comfortable for me. Yeah, I made a really cozy nook in kitchen number 1 a few weeks ago. And it's a cute room. It's this little nook. It's got these 2 settles, love seat size, and they're flanking a table, and it's right by the fireplace, and it's just cozy and wonderful. The chairs go up past your head, so you kind of feel like you're in a booth at a restaurant. And do you know what? Tom and Cammie have totally taken them over. I mean, it's like the perfect spot for Tom to work. It's the perfect place for Cammie to crochet, and I can never get a space there. And I thought, wow, I just created this really cozy nook, and there is no space for me. To be perfectly honest with you here, sometimes I feel like I'm so used to giving and so used to putting other people's needs first that I don't even know who I am anymore. I just wanted to let you know that it's okay to carve a space for yourself in your home. We have been putting stoves in our house. Like, our house sprawls, it goes all over the place, and we have these different wings that needed to be heated. And this year we put a propane stove in the kitchen where we had a propane hookup. And I said to Tom the other day, we need a stove in that master bedroom. The walls are actually cracking, the plaster, because it's too cold in there. So we bought a pellet stove for the camp room and decided, because it was so beautiful, we were going to move it up to this room. And it's so pretty, like, it's so pretty. But I put that stove in and the room looked wrong. Like, the room looked just bad, because that stove was heavy enamel, and this room was light, like a helium balloon. This room with the yellow stenciled floor and the blue trim, it just looked like it would just float away. And rooms like that are fun at the ocean in the summer. Even with all the flowers around, it kind of worked in the room. It almost had this little, you know, French country Provence feel. You know, it kind of worked. But when you put the pellet stove in there, I right away wanted a room that was gonna ground me, because I need grounding rooms. I know that many of you have noticed that I have painted a lot of brown in my house. I know Roz has noticed from Angel House Designs. I know that Jenna, you've noticed that I don't put color in my house. It's because I am ADHD and I am a little bit scattered and a little bit spacey, and I need my environment to ground me. So, in this room, the very first thing I did was decide to paint over that blue and ground myself. So I did. I painted dash of pepper on my closet doors that span the whole wall. I painted dash of pepper on there, and figured that would help ground the space. And it did, it helped, but the space still felt like it was gonna float away because the floors are yellow and bright yellow, and that still felt flighty. The walls are yellow, the floors are yellow, the ceiling is white, still very, very light, with some of the grounding in it. So the next thing I went and did was went through the house and grabbed all of my heavy duty floor mats that I had done in black, and I grabbed all 3 of them and I put them on the floor, and voila, putting those black rugs on the floor grounded the space. Then I thought, you know, when you get brown, you should put black in it to kind of ground it some more, to bring some contrast in. So I went all through the house and I grabbed my black curtains that were in other windows and I put them up in the room. Still, it wasn't enough. I grabbed a black bedspread from another room, put that on the bed. Still not enough. I put some pillow shams on the bed. Still not enough. It still felt wrong. It felt like I had now dark accents, but it still wasn't grounded. I went and grabbed a couple portraits that I have of an old man and an old woman, and they were great brown and black, and I thought, okay, I'll put them on the wall. That'll bring some more contrast and depth into the room, and that helped too. But it wasn't until I went to the barn and grabbed the shutters from this house, from the period of the early 1900s when this was a restaurant, the Russian Bear, and I grabbed those Russian Bear shutters. And I have to be honest with you, the day I moved into this house, I wanted to put Russian Bear shutters on this room, because this room is like this big box with all these windows, but the windows are tiny, you know, and it just looked wrong perspective-wise. Like, you would really want a room like this to have nice, beautiful windows that span the room, and these windows were so tiny. And I figured if I grabbed those shutters, that would help. So we grabbed the shutters. They had been painted granny green. We put them in the room. They really did the trick on the windows. Of course, the granny green was the wrong color. It was the wrong vibe for the space. And even though I love a good granny green, it just wasn't going to do the primitive coziness for me. So I painted them Dash of Pepper by Benjamin Moore. Now the room had some depth to it. Now I was able to rearrange the furniture and really make this my space. I'm going to tell you, it only cost me under $100 to make this space my own. So then I decided to open up the secretary that was in here. I had been thinking about maybe getting rid of it, but then I thought, no, not going to do that. I opened it up and decided to put things that were me in there. So what was me? My camera collection. I love my antique camera collection. Some of the photographs of my ancestors went there. A few antique books, because I always like how antique books look. And also a lot of my photography books. I love my photography books. I'd like to just sit there and look at them. And I never had them out and displayed in my primitive environment. So I put them in. I put my dad's cap on my desk just so I could look at it and think about my dad. I put my sister's ashes on the shelf because they've been in the kitchen, because that seemed fitting because she liked to cook. And but I decided that I wanted her in my room, so I brought her in. I hung a few pictures on the wall that were of my ancestors, my great-grandpa and great-great-grandpa and grandpa, and my grandma in the 20s, and she looks like a movie star in that picture, and pictures of her family when she was young. And I brought my heart and soul in here. Then after that was all done and I had the feeling that I wanted to have in here, I thought, I'm going to go get my guitar. And I got my guitar and I put that in the corner. I have not played that thing in years, let me tell you. And I got my drums and I put them in the corner by the chair, and I decided to just make this my spot. And do you know what? I never want to leave. Do you know what? My family, they don't see a lot of me the last few days because I am hauled up in this room, a place of my own. It's cozy and it's wonderful. And this has actually made this a real home for me. So yeah, I had all these beautiful rooms for everybody to be in, to entertain in, for my whole family to enjoy. But it was time for me to make a room of my own, and I did. And I hope that you get good ideas from my room and make your own room too, because absolutely your heart needs to come home in your environment. You need that place to rest and to breathe and to recharge and to find yourself again, especially as women and mothers. We give so much away all the time. We're always taking care of other people, and we really need to take care of ourselves and nourish ourselves too. So even if you live alone in your house and your whole house is basically a room of your own, maybe you want to find a corner, find a room that can be that place that fills your heart, that unpacks your life, that room that if someone walked into, they would get you, that they would really understand who you were. I don't think that when people walk into my primitive living room, they know me. They know a little bit about me, but I feel like if I invited you into my room of my own, you would know a whole lot more about me. And so I am inviting you in today in the hopes that you too will carve out this home place for you.